Kasende, brother, thanks for coming on the show. We've been waiting for this. It's been a long time, but glad
Yeah,
you're finally here. I can see you just come from training because
yeah, yeah. So, we had a bit of a captain's run before the game tomorrow.
yeah. Well, that's awesome, dude. You know what the weird thing is, bro? Like the last time I saw you, you were like a Wits player. You were just like normal students, but now you're a super rugby
Yeah.
player. I mean, that's insane, dog. It was like a couple of months ago. You know?
Hey, life switches up on you like that sometimes. Eh? Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. Eh?
Yeah, but this is awesome, bro. How are you doing? I can imagine you're doing quite well, with everything that's been going on.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm doing really well. I'm in a good space right now. Obviously, just enjoying being in the profession I wanted to be in, and obviously still working hard, still
Yeah.
working towards other goals. But yeah, overall, I'm good, bro. I'm great.
Well, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So I don't know okay, this is crazy, bro, because I mean, it feels like the timing is perfect with everything that's going on right now. With the
Yeah,
Greekos coming into Super Rugby now, because I mean, they weren't part of the Super Rugby before everything happened. So
yeah,
I mean, that sounds like it's perfect
yeah.
timing for you. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's convenient, but like you said, it's also perfect timing for someone like me who, I had a different vision, a different plan in mind. Work my way through Greek was work through Curry Cup, and then hopefully somewhere down the line get a chance to play against the bigger unions and stuff. Whereas this competition has put us all in the same boat, so you get to do that off the bat.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you obviously had your debut last weekend, and you were
Yeah,
starting, and then that was awesome, dude. I mean, it's just crazy, bro. Like I said, the last time I saw you, you were playing for Wits, and now you're in Super
yeah.
Rugby playing against the Bulls, bro. I mean, that's insane. I mean, and that was like an amazing
Yeah,
feeling.
I get what you mean. I think I was also in the same kind of mindset prior to the game, like leading up to the game. And one moment you one place, and the next moment you at another, and it just comes down to just always being ready, And yeah, so I guess it didn't completely overwhelm me because during lockdown I was training hard still, and when
Yeah,
I did get the call up to come to the Greek was earlier, I was like, okay, I'm ready because I've been prepping,
for
Yeah,
sure. But how did it feel to play against the big boys? I mean, you did play, you had stints with the Bulls like last year or 2 years
yeah,
ago. Yeah. But like, how did it feel to play at that stage? Especially in your debut. I mean, you were starting, dude. I mean,
yeah.
the Bulls, bro.
You're quite baffled, eh? Yes, back me a little bit, my guy.
I back
um,
you, I back you. But how did it feel, bro? Like, were you like super, not nervous, but like, were you like excited and hyped to to get the chance to prove yourself?
yeah, I think for most of it, if I'm being honest, just the support, the messages coming through from family and friends, and they made it a lot tougher for me because then they were adding pressure to the hype and all of that.
Yeah,
And I was just like, every time I rest, someone sends me a message and they're like, yo, Dan, I can't believe it. You're about to play and you're starting and it's your first pro game ever and this and that. And then it comes to my mind and I'm like, oh, damn, Dan, this is actually what's happening. But I think when it came down to the game, once you do all your preparation, at the end of the day, it's 80 minutes and it's 15, 15 guys in every team. So 30 guys in between
yeah.
the four lines, and rugby is rugby at the end of the day. Nothing really changes.
Mm. Oh, that's awesome, bro. I mean, sure. I was just sitting there and I was like, bro, I'm sorry to like bring this up a lot, but I'm just sitting there and I'm like, bro, there's no freaking way, brother. Like this guy was playing for Wits a couple of weeks ago. I mean, months ago, but now he's just. But
Yeah.
nah, man. But I mean this in like the best way. Like
No, I get you. I think for me as well, I didn't foresee it panning out the way it did now. I sort of had my own assumption of how I'd have to work up a certain ladder or work through certain processes before I'd get the opportunity to make my debut and stuff like that. And I guess that's still in motion, you know what I mean? Those processes haven't fallen away or anything. I'm still working hard, still working on my weaknesses per se. Like I'm still working to improve and all of that, and I'm still doing a lot of preps and everything. So I guess I'm also just grateful for the opportunity. It stunned me as well.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess we all saw you going pro at some point, bro. Because I mean, you were killing Varsity Cup. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure you also like saw yourself going pro, like eventually, you know, with how things are going. I mean, it was a short year, but you had like amazing season. Man.
To be honest, I think in the beginning, like in 2018, you know, I was seeing it. 2016, I was playing well. 2017, I played really well. 2018, I played Varsity Cup and I did well in the competition. And, you know, I was starting to see it. And then, you know, there was times where I started to question myself because week in, week out, you know, you put in the hard yards and you think you're performing at a certain level and still nothing's coming. So doubt did creep in. I won't lie about that. Those things do creep in and you just start to question. And I think the biggest thing for me that just helped me was I just put it all on God. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do my part. I'm going to do everything I can in my power. But over and above that, I'm not going to stress whether I make it or not. You know, I'm just going to play my heart out because these are God-given talents. And the best way for you to give praise and honor to God is to do your best with the ability you've been given. And I just focused on the games and the performances. And, the rest I just left on God. And, you know, opportunities came. And, I'm grateful.
Yeah, man, for sure. Please use the thing. I don't know what my camera's doing, but it'll come online soon.
Yeah.
But wow, bro, it's just amazing. You know, I'm sure a lot of people are proud of you. We're all proud of you. Like, I'm so excited for the future for you, bro. But like my next question is how was like the transition from Varsity Cup to Greekers to like pro rugby? Because I mean, I know it's like a little bit similar because you train a lot as well in Varsity Cup. It's like semi-professional. But obviously now it's a different ball thing. And how's the schedule like?
Yeah, the schedule is a lot different to what I had at Wits. Well, not a lot different. I mean, it's just, you know, the best part of it, if I'm being honest, is like I get to sleep a bit later in the mornings because, you know, at Wits, you wake up at 5:30 in the morning and you got to go to training and stuff. So I guess that doesn't happen yet. And I'm really happy about that, if I'm being honest. Like, that's the best part of training here. I think it's really structured here. We don't go overtime or anything. So we given us a set amount of time to get a certain amount of reps or execution and whatnot done. And I think whether we get it done or not, you know, that's the time you have. And that just gives added pressure for you to perform. And it's not just performing during training, during games, but it's during training because in our team, you know, you got to fight for everything. You got to fight for your position and you got to work hard and you got to compete. And so the transition was, I wouldn't say smooth per se, but like, you know, you get your moments where you think, okay, this tempo is really up there, and you know, you don't get a break. There's no time for you to have a lapse in concentration or drop your effort or anything. So like, I think it's quite a step up. It's definitely a step up in terms of fitness, the intensity of training sessions. Like, it's really different.
Yeah, for sure. And how's that been? I mean, obviously, because I mean, you're getting paid to do what you love, bro. I mean, are you enjoying the process?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh no, I won't lie to you. You know what? I think I could be one of the happiest men alive right now because honestly, I finished my degree now, and if I didn't get an opportunity to play rugby, I would have had to look for an alternative. And like I said, this was my passion. This was what I where I wanted to be. So waking up every day is a privilege for me to wake up and go to the stadium and train, because that's my work. When people wake up and go to the office, I wake up and go to the rugby field. I wake up and go to the gym. I
Yeah.
mean, if I'm not happy about that, then surely there's something wrong with me. Like, this is the best. Like, I'm enjoying each and every part of the process. I really I'm just mindful of it all. I try to be present in every session and just give it my all, because also we get good moments to rest and recover and all of that. So it's very structured.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now obviously you're in Kimberley now, right? Because
Yeah.
the guys' headquarters in Kimberley. How's Kimberley, dude? I mean, I don't know. How's that? How's living?
Kimberley's different. First and most importantly, it's really hot. Like, today's training session was at 38 degrees, 38 degrees, and training in Joburg and stuff. You feel the heat, but here it's intense.
Yeah,
But I like Kimberley. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful. Um, it's a slow. It's very slow. So like, there's not a lot going on. It's not really busy. You get a lot of time to just spend with yourself and just grow as a person as well, which
yeah,
I'm enjoying that aspect of it, because off of rugby, usually in like Johannesburg and stuff, there's a lot happening.
yeah,
Johannesburg is busy, and here in Kimberley you really can rest and just rest your mind and just be at peace and stuff.
yeah. Well, that's awesome, bro. And like, are you homesick?
Yeah.
Because okay, you just got there. Like, are you kind of like homesick?
Yeah. No, you know what? I won't lie to you. Right now, I'm not homesick. Like, I'm enjoying every moment,
Yeah,
and I'm so stoked for the competition. Like, you can't pay me to go home right now. I want to be here. I want to be
yeah,
playing next week. I want to be training next week. Be in the mix. Like, I'm doing what I love right now, and some sacrifices you don't even feel it at the moment when you're really doing what you love, if that makes sense.
yeah.
But I feel like after a while, I'm gonna start feeling that homesick. So I think it's really good that once in a while I go home, see
Yeah.
friends, see family and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. Now, it's amazing to me that you came from like a relatively small school, bro, like Queens High, yeah,
Yeah.
Queens College, And to be honest, no one. I don't want to be bad, but no one would expect to have a star come from a school like that. And what does it mean to you
Yeah.
to have come to a school like that and to be where you are
Yeah. For me personally, I think it's just breaking norms.
today?
Um, it's massive, and I say it proudly every time. What school did you go to? Oh, Dan, you play good rugby. What school did you go to? And I'm like, I went to Queen's High School. Oh, Queen's College. Hey, brother,
Yeah.
Queen's High School in Johannesburg. And people are so shocked that guys can come out of Queens and do well. But the truth of the matter is, there are quite a few guys that
Yeah.
I can put my hand up and be like, if that guy got the opportunity, he would have also been in a similar position, or would have made the opportunity to get to a high level at rugby. And there are a few guys that have made it as well. So it's not really that Queens doesn't produce athletes. I think the biggest problem with coming out of a small school is no one's looking.
Yeah,
So
sure.
you don't really get the opportunity because no one's looking there. And if more people just looked, I promise you they'll find kids that are a lot more talented than I was when I was in high school, because I think, people tell me I had it. I had the potential in high school. And I think when I left high school, I used to look at a few guys around me and I was like, this guy also had it. This guy definitely had it more than I did. And they didn't get the opportunity that I got. That's why I think I think it's really important that I take every opportunity and I don't take it for granted, because just looking back, it's really a privilege and it's really great.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, bro. You're uplifting Queens high up there, bro. That's awesome. And that's the matter. Like no one looks at these small schools, bro, and there's a lot of talent there. I mean,
Yeah.
Like so, I mean, how did you get your opportunity to, I guess, to play at Wits? Like, I mean, obviously, I don't know if they were looking at you when you came out of high school, because they obviously have their eyes on guys who went to kids,
Yeah.
guys coming from grade. We know how the system is like, No
Yeah.
offense to that, but like, were you like a prospect to them when you came out of high school?
Prospect. I don't think I was a prospect. I mean, I always chat to my coach. When I chat to Coach Yuko, and he tells me how, in 2015, when he drafted players for 2015, the first years, he wanted to make a statement that Wits is changing and leaning towards rugby. And, the names, signing Constant, signing Jedro, Cham, AJ Van Berg, Sibu, those were the names that they sort of signed to be like, Wits is going to up their rugby now. So I got a bursary out of high school to play rugby at Wits, but I won't say I was the guy they were looking at like, yeah, no, this guy is definitely going to uplift Wits and he's the next big thing or anything like that. I think it was just, once again, taking the opportunity. And as you know, my journey from junior level at Wits to first team wasn't as spontaneous as all the other guys, like the guys I just mentioned. It took quite a while. I played junior level for a bit, had to prove myself, had to go up step by step, played under 21s, had to prove myself, played second team, had to prove myself, had to play first team club rugby to first prove myself before I could be backed to be a starting player in the Varsity Cup. So I think everyone's journey is different. So it's tough. It's tough to say whether I was a prospect or not, but I guess the guys that recruited me sort of saw something there.
Yeah, for sure. Now, still on Wits, bro, I can imagine you've had like one of the best times of your life there, bro. It would be wrong of me to just not mention the Witsies right now, because I guess they've contributed to who you are today, bro. You had like a time there, with the boys.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, definitely. And I've been there for the longest of time. So, Wits was my home. The Witsies, yes. What can I say? Yeah, those are my brothers. I've really made family for the rest of my life. Like, if ever I walk past one of the Witsies and I carry on walking or pretend I don't know them, that's the day I'm going to realize I'm losing myself as a person, because, I've learned so much from Wits and it's been so humbling, and they've really helped build the person I am now. So I'm really grateful for not just the coaches, but especially, the players, the guys that I found there as seniors already. Like, I can tell you a story about Lux. My first warm-up game for Varsity Cup, we were playing against UJ. While we were warming up, because I made the starting lineup in 2017, I think it was. 17 or 16. While we were warming up, it was my first game ever. I was with the senior guys, the first team and the Varsity Cup side. So I was a bit nervous. And during the warm-up, you could see I was nervous. I mean, I was knocking on like ridiculous balls. I was just making errors. And in my head, I just kept thinking, this is so much pressure. Like, I can't flop. And I don't know if people noticed, but Lux definitely noticed. And, while I was jogging back, he came to me and just gave me a tap on the back, and he was like, "Hey, bro, look at me." And I looked at him, and he was so dead serious, and he looked at me and he was like, "You deserve to be here."
Sure.
Don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You deserve to be here. You've put in the work. You've done everything, and you're here. You're here for a reason. You're starting for a reason. Back yourself, because everyone around you backs you. And just that word from him, that was insane, because that was like the beginning of our friendship.
Yeah.
Because right now we're like really close, but back then I was a youngster coming in and he was a senior. We didn't really, know each other. But, just that word from him, really, it changed my whole Wits career, because I went on to have a really good game, and I went on to solidify my spot as a winger at Wits, and from there the rest is history. But like just those little things, that can make or break you. It could have easily been someone coming past and saying, "Hey, listen, don't drop our standards. Hey, listen, you need to focus now because you're doing nonsense." Like what you say to people really matters. And once we begin to understand that, we begin to value our friendships and our relationships, especially in sport. We value it a lot more, and you understand that when a junior is coming in, it's really important how you speak to him and how you just bring him into the team and let him experience the team environment in a proper way.
Yeah. Sure, dude. I didn't know that story, but that's awesome, bro. Shout out to Lux.
Yeah.
Jesus. Shout out to the boy.
Shout out to my guy.
Yeah, man. But dude, thank you so much for your time. That's an amazing story. Curious question, stupid question. What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Say that again.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? I know it's a stupid question,
I think the first thing I do is put on praise and worship, to be honest. It just gets me going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wake up, I open my eyes, grab my phone, and just, because I have a playlist, and I just press play, and I lay in bed, and I look up, and, you just got to remind yourself of what you're grateful for. Like, your eyes are open, you're breathing, you're alive, you're awake, it's small things like that we take for granted, but we don't understand that not everyone has those luxuries.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah. No, it's clear. It's obviously clear to me that you strong believer in Christ, bro, and you are where you are because of Him, bro. So what I guess if you had to like drop a quick testimony before you chuck, to encourage someone out there, what would that be?
My testimony, actually, I have one. In 2017. So, like I said, 2016, I did really well. And in 2017, I sort of drifted away from God, and I put rugby at the top of my life. Like, it was number one in my life. And I just kept thinking, Dan, you're so good at this, and it's all you, and you've worked so hard, you've done this, you've done that. And I was starting to lose track of the bigger picture. I was starting to lose my relationship with God, which was always the biggest thing in my life. And in 2017, stuff happened, and I didn't get to play Varsity Cup because I didn't get enough credits. And the funny thing is, that was the year, like, I solidified my spot, and I was going to be a starting player, and I was in the mix. So that year was so tough for me, and I had to go back to the drawing board, and I just had to find my identity. I needed to know who Daniel was outside of rugby, because that's all I knew back then. If you ask me who I was, I'm Dan. I'm the rugby player. I play rugby. That's all my friends knew, and that's all I knew. And I think just during that Varsity Cup season, you're sitting in the stands, you're watching people play, and you're thinking, that could have been me, honestly, having these moments, these incredible moments. And I just spent more time with God. I started asking questions. And when you ask God questions, He asks you better questions, where you have to now start looking at yourself, and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't think about it that way. And so in 2017, I came to a realization, like, there's a story about Paul, or Paul says, like, he's labored the hardest, like he's worked the hardest, and he's done so much, but only through God's grace were all these things possible, you know.
Yeah.
And that just hit me so hard, and I came to a realization that everybody works hard, dude. Like everybody wants it, everyone really wants it, and sometimes you just need grace, you know. Sometimes God's grace is what pushes you to get it above someone else. And you know, once I started understanding that, I literally said to God in 2017, you know what? If rugby is not for me, you can take it away now, because I don't want it to be number one in my life anymore. I want you to be there. That's your spot. No one is going to compete with you. If rugby is competing with you, you can take it away. I'm just going to serve you. And funny story is, after 2017, 2018 came and I did really well in Varsity Cup. I got called up to the Bulls and had a stint there. So my rugby just started booming because I had my priorities straight, you know. And for me, that's my biggest testimony, you know. God gives you opportunities to do what you love. That's what God wants you to do. That's what God wants you to do. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to do what you love. But at the end of the day, your priorities should never change, you know. And once I realigned my priorities and I drew closer to God, everything else just set itself into motion and everything was in its place. So yeah, that's my testimony, bro.